Welcome back to the Explanation Pro. Today I'm going to explain a horror thriller movie, titled Don't Listen. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. In the beginning of the movie we see a kid named Eric. At night he hears some strange noises and he is not able to sleep properly. His parents Sara and Daniel are worried about his health and calls in psychiatrist named Aaron. Eric tells the doctor that at night he could hear strange noises and he further says that the noise tells him to draw. The doctor gets shocked and tells his parents that he is imagining everything as they have just shifted here. As soon as the doctor leaves the house, her car's radio gets turned on itself. She is in the middle of the road. Some weird sounds are coming from it. On the other hand, Eric starts to draw and he draws a tree branch which has blood on it. Here Erin is driving her car and tries to fix her radio just when a fly gets inside her ear. She seems to be possessed and she starts to drive the car more faster. She crashes her car to a tree and a branch pierced through her head. It looks just like the branch which was drawn by Eric. Eventually Aaron dies. Now we see Daniel is working on their new house. He is frustrated because of the flies. The flies are making marks and holes on the wall. He sprays on them. Just then Eric calls him and tells him to get his ball from the pool. He goes there and tells him not to go near the pool alone. His mother calls him to take his bath. When Eric was bathing he hears that a sound is coming from the shower. He listens carefully and understands that a voice is saying that his father doesn't love him. When his mother arrives there he tells her about this but she assures him that it is not true, his father loves him a lot. At night when Daniel tells Sara not to worry about Eric. He says that he will get normal if he makes some friends at school. They fell asleep. In the midnight Daniel hears the sound of the entrance gate of the pool, as if it is open. He wakes up and goes there and closes the gate. When he comes back to the house he listens that Eric is talking to someone. On the other hand we see Eric is lying on his bed and one of his toys starts on his own. He gets up and takes the toy in his hand, just when he sees someone is standing behind the curtains. He gets so scared that he gets up on his bed and closes his ears and eyes and hides under the sheets. But then someone or something comes from behind and grabs his mouth to shut him. Daniel arrives there and consoles Eric. There is no one, but the frame of their family photo gets broke and Daniel's hand gets cut. Next day Sara gets mad and takes Eric home from school. She tells her husband that Eric was discharged because he was hiding inside a closet and he had bit the principal as well. His parents scolds him. Eric then says that the voices were saying him to do so. He even says that he knows Dr. Aaron is dead. His parents doesn't believes him. But after some time they get a call and they also finds out about Dr. Aaron. They thinks that Eric must have get to know about this from someone at the school. At night we see Eric hears the voices again and he draws something. We see a girl is standing in his room. Now around 3 a.m. the gate of the pool opens on its own, again. Daniel hears the noise and he is about to go to close the gate, just when he hears some strange noise. He takes his gun and finds Eric's t-shirt on the floor. He runs towards the pool. Sara goes to Eric's room but couldn't find him. His father reaches the pool and sees Eric's body is floating. He jumps into it and saves him and takes him out of the pool. Eric couldn't make it, he dies. His parents are heartbroken and they blames themselves. After his funeral, Sara decides to go and stay with her mother for some days. While packing she sees a drop of blood on the bed but ignores it thinking that the blood has came from Daniel's hand. She asks him to come with her but he denies. After she left, he starts watching older clips of Eric. He gets emotional and starts crying. He sends a voice message to Sara and apologizes to her. He switches off the TV and hears some noises. He goes forward to listen it clearly, just when the TV turns on its own. He turns it off. Next day Sara calls him. Then he listens to the audio he sent her last night. He hears Eric's voice at the end of the audio. He gets shocked and listens the same audio in his laptop. He clearly hears Eric's voice and he is asking for his father's help. Daniel then watches an interview of an expert voice phenomenon named German. He goes to meet him at a book exhibition. He then tells German about the voice of his dead son and asks for his help. He agrees to help him. Next day German and his daughter Ruth goes to Daniel's house and fixes a normal camera and a thermal camera. German then wears his equipments and investigates every room. Ruth is watching the rooms live with the help of the cameras. She sees someone is sitting in Eric's room with the help of the thermal camera. She thinks that this is Daniel so she tells her father to make him leave. Her father tells her that he is sitting outside. Then German enters Eric's room but sees no one. Ruth tells her father to go out of the room as she can see someone is standing in front of her father on the thermal cam. But he can't see anyone. After some time his equipments that he was wearing starts to make loud noises. He gets afraid. After this experience he tells Daniel that this is some paranormal activity and he will try this again. At night when he was sleeping he realizes someone is in his room. He sees someone is standing. He follows it and he sees his dead wife Sophia. He starts to talk to her. His wife tells him to come with her and he starts cutting his hand as if he is in some trance. Just then his daughter comes there and stops him. He realizes there is no one and he is bleeding. On the other hand, Sara gets a call. When she receives it, she hears Eric's voice. He says that his father has brought some people in the house which is hurting him. She couldn't decide what to do and departs from there. Now here, when Ruth comes out in the balcony, she sees that many dead cats are hung in a tree. After some time, Sara arrives there and asks Daniel about German and gets angry on him for calling them. Ruth is in the market. She is going back to the house after buying some medicines for her father. A woman calls her and tells her to leave Daniel's house as soon as possible, and she tells Ruth more about the history of the house. Sara comes and sits in Eric's room. She is searching for him. All of a sudden she sees Eric is sitting beside his bed. She comes close to him to call Eric, but he crawls and hides himself under the bed. She bends down and looks under the bed but couldn't find Eric. She sees feet of an old person on the other end of the bed. She then sees that the person is getting up on bed. She looks up at the bed but can't see anything. She gets scared and falls on the ground and starts to move back when she touches someone's feet. And then suddenly a woman garbs her mouth from behind and the scene cuts there. In the living room, German, Ruth and Daniel are sitting. Ruth tells Daniel about the history of this house. They tell him that this house was a slaughterhouse back then. Earlier witches were brought in this house. They were tortured and killed. The dead cats hanging from the tree indicates a warning. The witches are warning them to leave the place soon. While they are talking about this, all of a sudden Sara attempts suicide and we see a fly is also coming from her ear just like Aaron. German then finds a way to kill the witch. Daniel is sitting in Eric's room as he is very sad, and then he can see Sara and Eric. This is all his imagination. On the next scene we see Ruth is watching the clip of Sara's room, that how she died. German is also there. They both then notice that there was also someone else in that room. Suddenly they hear sounds of firing coming from Eric's room. Both of them rushes there and finds out it is Daniel. He is shooting. They ask him to give them the gun and ask him to find the room of the witch who is doing this. He understands where he can find the room. He goes to the place where he always used to see the flies on the wall. They breaks the wall and finds a secret passage down there. They goes down and finds a dead body. This is the witch's dead body. When German touches it, he sees a vision of how the witch was tortured and killed. Then they all decides to burn the body and start searching for the oil. After getting the oil, German tells Ruth to stand outside and he goes down. After reaching there, his flashlight stops working and suddenly the witch comes in front of him. He screams out loud. Hearing him scream, Ruth gets scared and calls her father. Then she turns around and finds her mother standing across the room. Her mother calls her, but she knows that this is a trick of that witch. She denies. Then suddenly the witch comes from behind and grabs her. She starts to scare her and tries to kill her. On the other hand, we see Daniel, who is in the other room and he was also searching for oil. He notices that Sara and Eric are standing there and are calling him. He goes to them and hugs them. This is also a trick and he doesn't realize that he is actually hugging the witch. He was hypnotized by then. He pours the oil on him, tries to catch fire. Here we see German is still trying to burn the dead body. He pours oil on her. And just when he is about to catch the fire, Ruth comes from behind and attacks him as she was hypnotized by the witch. He somehow manages to get rid of her and shoots the dead body with a gun and the dead body catches fire. Ruth gets her senses and helps her father to get out of there. Daniel also gets his sense back and eventually saves himself from dying. In the next scene we see Daniel is in Eric's room remembering him. He notices the paintings he has made earlier. He understands that Eric was painting the incidents of everyone's dead. This means he has predicted earlier that how the deaths will happen. Then Daniel remembers that at that night when Eric died, a fly got inside his ear and he was possessed. He went out of his room and found Eric near the pool, and then he himself pushed him on the pool and drowned him to death. After realizing it, he blames himself for his son's death and goes to the pool. There he finds the painting of Eric that indicates that Daniel is drowning Eric in the pool. He sits near the pool and starts crying and he feels guilty. So he aims the gun at him and shoots himself. Daniel dies and we see that the witch is standing on the other side of the pool. This means that the witch's spirit is still roaming in the house. We see in the next scene that Ruth and German are in the hospital and they are safe. And the movie also ends here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.